Bitten by a radioactive people. Hip hop has always been a big part of my life. Cartoons, nerd culture, video games, comic books, movies, spitting game, spitting game, spitting game.
Spitting Game is filmed in front of a live studio audience on location at Do or Die, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Join me as I chop it up with Skyzoo, one of the dopest MCs on the mic, Brooklyn's own. I've seen this guy come from humble beginnings, from his early days at Duck Down, riding the train, doing shows at SOBs, just an all-around consistent artist, dope person. Had many run-ins with him over the years, but we finally got to sit down and chop it up about what he collects, the things he's into, childhood memories involving video games, and one crazy story about how he tried to get a demo to Bad Boy. Since we've done this interview, he's actually had a few new business ventures, some acting roles, and released a series of trading cards that are based on hip-hop artists. So hopefully I get one of those in the future, man, because them things sold out quick. But here we go. No continues in Skyzoo. Check it out.
1 2 1 2. Check it out. It's SKYZOO Skyzoo live out the borough, and this is Spittin' Game live with no continues. Let's get into it, baby.
What's going on, y'all? I'm sitting here with my man Skyzoo. I would have introduced him way crazier than that, but I feel like he needs no introduction, man. This guy's done so much. He's written so many fucking dope. He doesn't even just drop songs here and there. He drops whole projects and albums. So if you're not getting an actual album, you're getting a mixtape, you're getting a collabo album. So but that's not what we're really gonna be focusing on today. The things we're gonna be talking about are the other side of hip hop that you don't get to see. Which stuff like this, the video games, the influences, things we did as a kid that I would say go hand in hand with hip hop. So I'm going to start this off real nice first, and then we're going to go completely left from there. So first off, I wanted to say I appreciate, man, how your narrative in hip-hop and towards your family life and all that is completely different than a lot of other rappers. You don't sit there, talk about how much you hate your parents or how you had it so hard growing up and, everything was just difficult for you. And you talk about how much love and education your family instilled in you,
100%.
And how they did everything in their power to steer you in the right path.
Yeah.
Even you talking about how your mother made an effort to leave you with your dad so he could help raise you and show you the way, as a son to grow up into manhood. So
100%.
Those are things I appreciate. Those are things I respect because I myself grew up with both parents. And I don't hear that a lot, you know what I'm saying? So when I hear that, I can relate and it touches home for me. Thank
you.
Of course, us being fathers ourselves too.
Yeah.
Those things mean a lot, especially with the Milestones album, which we discussed already. But what I wanted to say was, what the hell made you think it would be a good idea to throw a demo tape up on stage at a Bad Boy concert?
Man, your research game is crazy, man. Your research game is crazy.
Tell them that story, man. Tell them how you were trying to get Bad Boy's attention back in the day.
Man, I was 14, growing up on St. James, up the block from Big and Junior Mafia and all that as a little kid. My life, my world was Bad Boy.
Yeah.
So that's why I ride for Bad Boy to this day. You know what I mean? Like, there's no Bad Boy slander on my watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, straight up and down. And when I was growing up, my neighborhood, it was Bad Boy world, it was Junior Mafia world, it was Biggie world, like that was us. You see, I got the little Kim shirt on right now, It was what it was, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Joey with Fly Kids. But anyway, so, it wasn't my first concert, but it was my first really big concert. I think I went to one concert before that. It was my first really big concert. I was 14, and my mom's bought me the tickets for my birthday. I was turning 15. So it was in December, I'll never forget, it was December 4th. It was Jay-Z's birthday. Because he was on the tour and they did a happy birthday thing for him on stage. He was the opening act, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the order was Kid Capri was spinning, Usher went first, then Jay went, then Busta went, and then Bad Boy, you know, the whole fam came out.
And what year was this game? You said 98?
97.
97?
97, yeah, December 97.
Yeah,
So
Bad Boy
Jay
ruled
was
the world.
right, and Jay was still on the come up. Like, he opened that tour, you know what I mean? Which is crazy. So, you know, I remember when my mom's got me the tickets, she was like, yo, we're going to the Bad Boy concert for your birthday. I freaked out. Greatest gift ever. Oh, my God, Mom, I love you so much, whatever. Yeah. And it was at Madison Square Garden, and I remember I had a little demo tape with 2 freestyles on it. And I had the demo in my jacket pocket, and I had my house number on it, because this is 97, and I'm 14. Yeah. There's no cell phones. There's no, you know what I mean? We're not in that era yet. So I had my house number on the demo, on the tape, cassette tape. And we there, and middle of the show, Puff is rocking, doing his thing, Murder Mace, LOX. I reached in my pocket, had it in my hand, and I went, and my mother looked at me. I remember she looked, and she was like, Skylar, I swear, if you throw that on that stage, she looked down at me, if you throw that on that stage, I'm knocking you out. And I was like, Mom, come on, I'm trying to, she was like, I'm telling you, little boy, throw that on that stage, you know what I mean? She just looked over and looked down at me like that, and I put it back in my pocket, you know?
And just for those of you that don't know what the size of a tape is or what one looks like, give me 1 second right here. Look, show them. This is on exchange. This is actually a company, you should know these guys, they're Goodwood from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
But imagine taking this and chucking it on stage.
But it was bigger because it was in a case.
Yeah. So it was in a
tape
little
would be bigger
case.
than that, and then, let me see. Oh yeah, the tape would be a little bigger, and then it's in a jewel case. Yeah, no, it was wild stuff, man. But you know, hunger, and being 14 and having no regard. Like, yo, fuck that, let's go. Yeah, but I'm trying to do it.
You know why I can appreciate that story? Because that's some dumb shit me and my boy DeFame would have done. Like, we would try to do whatever to promote our music back in the day, and we had, you know, you have to have like unconventional ways of promoting. You can't hit them with the same thing. You have to have the hunger.
And you know, it wasn't even that it was such a big deal that was this grand scheme thought out. It was just like, you know, I'm trying to be on Bad Boy. Yo, this is the closest I've ever been to them. Yeah. Yo, the man Puff is gonna be there tonight. Yo, just fucking take this tape and just throw it on the stage, man.
I'm just thinking, how did that play out in your head? Like, he was gonna see the tape drop, he's like, oh shit,
like,
yo, stop the show.
Yeah, like, yo, somebody just threw some shit on the stage.
Skyzoo.
Yo, grab that, yo, hand it to his man or something, you know what I'm saying?
And stop the show, play the
But it would have never,
I
mean, our seats wasn't at the front. It would have never made it. It would have started a fight. It would have hit somebody in the head, started a fight.
Still,
but anyway.
That's a hilarious story, though, man. Yeah. And, you know what? Shout out to your high school. So it's ICE. What did that stand for again?
Institute for Collaborative Education.
Now, you had a computer teacher there who encouraged people to, like, he was trying to teach people how to make beats back then. I think his name's Mr. Stanley or Mr. Mann. I forgot what his name was. But anyways.
My computer teacher was Merrill. It was a woman.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But there was a guy there. So it's dope that that's a high school that you went to because, I mean, it's in the name right there, but it's dope that they pushed you guys into the arts and to pursue your dreams and things like that. So did that play any way into you pursuing the music? Like, did it help launch you or?
No, well, so ICE was a school, Institute for Collaborative Education, so everything was about collaborating. So we didn't have a lot of tests at ICE, it was projects. So we got graded on projects as if, you know, other schools would get graded on tests. Yeah. So we had tests for sure, but it was more project based, which was really cool. We had to work with one another. Everything was like, if you got something, it was a group of 3 that had to do the project, you know, collaboratives, Institute for Collaborative Education. And it was a new and unique way of teaching, and it was really dope, you know. Before that, for junior high, I went to Clinton School for Writers and Artists. That was more focused on the creative side of, you either had to write or you had to paint and draw and all that. I did both. So I went more for writing, but I was into art as well. So I used to do still life. I used to do graffiti. I still do graffiti. If you ever got something signed from me, you know my signature is graffiti. Thank you. And I used to do still life. I used to draw. I used to draw really well, but I can't really draw like that no more. You know what I mean? Because it's been forever. You don't use it, you let it go. Yeah. But my still life was crazy. Like, I used to have to put a bowl of fruit on the table and paint it. You know what I mean? And I used to knock that out. So but I went more for writing, and I feel like that obviously propelled me because more so than music, they didn't teach anything about music there, but it was more so writing. It was shaping me to continue to be the writer that I guess I was put here to be. And then once I got to ICE as well, just going to better schools and, ICE being a better school than some of the other options that was in my neighborhood or whatever, just going to a school of that prestige, I was able to take what I learned there and implement it in what I do now. And I still use it to this day. I'm 38 years old. I still use it to this day, like all those things that I learned back then. And that's what it's about, you know?
And that played well into your strengths too, because you were in English AP classes and amongst other things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, which I'll say, one time they did an article on J. Cole, and they said he had the most extensive vocabulary in hip hop. But I would say that's a title that you could have definitely rapped
absolutely.
for.
Absolutely. You
and Homeboy Sandman.
Yeah.
I think those are titles you guys.
Brother too. Shout out to my boy Sand, absolutely.
Because the words you guys be throwing in your rhymes is shit you don't hear.
Yeah, I mean, when you're using double and triple entendres, that's an extensive vocabulary. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I see it. And yeah, I mean, everybody know what I do. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't hear a lot of people dropping soliloquy in a verse and shit like that.
Right, like everybody know what I do.
Yeah.
We don't, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I do, baby. You know.
So, all right. Apart from all that, the reason why we're here is for the nerd shit. As you can see behind us, the background's a bunch of comic books and Venom and Spider-Man and all that shit. But all of us were kids at one point. We all played games. We all read comics. We all watched movies and had our favorite superheroes and shit like that. So, you specifically touched on. You know what? Let's light this up.
That's incredible.
Let's do this for camera effect.
That's incredible. I never saw that until we got here. That's incredible.
All right. So here, you can hold that.
Goodness gracious.
So, what does this mean to you?
It's the Ooze, man. TMNT 2. Ninja Turtles 2 movie, man. Where they let Duke, who played Leonardo, become an actual character in the movie as Keno. If I'm not mistaken. Yep. And, the Ooze, man, this is incredible, man. I'm blown away by this. I want to take this home. This is nuts. See, I'm the dude that would have opened up the Ooze in it. You know what I mean? I'd have been like, fuck that. I'm opening the shit up. You know what I mean? Like, this is incredible, man. This is a really fantastic thing that was made. And it just reminds me of the second Turtle movie, which was dope. The first one was the one. You know what I mean? Everybody knows. As dark as it was, the first one was really dark. Yeah. But we loved it. And I remember watching the special that we talked about earlier off camera and how they were worried that it was too dark. It was like, yo, it's the biggest cartoon in the world. The movie is dark as hell. Like, 90% of it is shot at night. You know what I mean? Like, the movie's dark and Raphael is cursing. Gritty, and it blew. You know what I mean? I think I saw that movie, the first one, I think I saw it like 4 times in the theaters. Because I had my mother take me, I had my father take me, my mother take me again, my father take me. Like, I saw that movie like 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? That was one of the good things about having 2 parents, 2 different homes. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents being split. Because I could gas one to take me to see it, then I could gas the other one to take me to see it again. So, like, but the second one was live too, though. The second one was live.
Yeah, but that one was watered down.
But it was still cool,
you know they weren't allowed to use their weapons in that movie. That's why Michelangelo had the paws. He had the sausages instead of the nunchucks.
Why was that? Why were they not allowed to use it?
They didn't want them using their weapons because it was too violent. That's why in the first one they're using the weapons, and in the second one they're using like
why'd they go back?
Makeshift.
Everything was great with the first one. It was successful. It popped off. If the first one failed, I could see them being like, "Yo, it was too dark. No weapons. Tone it down." It's just very weird.
It was on a downward decline from there because then the second one was still good. The second one's still classic.
Second one's good.
All of us when we were kids, we all loved the second one. But then they ruined it with the third one. The third one we don't speak of.
Third one was awful.
But let's see. We have a character around here.
I don't understand why they did that. I'm very mad about that.
Let me grab this right here. So, you said this guy right here was your favorite character. So go ahead and speak on that.
This is Raphael. He's my favorite turtle because as weapons, the size are probably the best because they can do the same damage as Katana Blade, but you can conceal them better. And you can hold them better and move around and get busy with them, as opposed to these huge swords coming out your shell and all that. Nunchucks were the most fun because they swinging, but you got to learn those so much. You poke somebody with the side, boom, it's over. So and then also too, out of all of them, Raphael seemed like the black one. The way he would speak.
I never thought about that.
Oh, absolutely. Even in the movie, in the first movie, damn, like he was the one cursing. So he was the one that seemed black. You know, out of all of them. So he had the most soul out of them. He had a little attitude. You know, I like Ralph. You know what I mean? Ralph's my guy, man. Word up. That's my man, right?
Hold on, I'm gonna go grab something real quick. We're gonna cut this part out, but I'm gonna grab something real quick that goes with the energy.
That's my man.
That pertains to something you do.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
So, this is a character to you guys, but to him it might mean something different. So I want you to hold this. What does this mean to you? It might mean a few different things. But...
Yeah, no, you know, this is Ghost Rider, of course. It's Ghost Rider, and obviously with me being a Ghost Rider, this is cool to be able to correlate the two. This is super dope. Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, and also Method Man's AKA right there, Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
Yep.
Face on fire and all that, yeah. Dope.
The movies were whack. Hopefully Marvel could fix that in the future and give them an actual proper movie. Because those Nicolas Cage movies weren't it.
This is dope, though.
Yeah, man.
Word up.
And I would say all of us are collectors in some way or the other, right? Mm-hmm. All of us are collectors. We all collect something, you know, whether it's music, whether it's figures, whether it's art. What are the things that you collect? What does Skyzoo's collection consist of and look like?
Jazz vinyl.
Jazz vinyl.
Yep. Jazz vinyl, straight up and down. Yep. Like the way you got games. Yeah. The way you could break them all down with the figures and the games and the art. Like yo, boom, boom, boom. Jazz vinyl. Like my jazz vinyl collection is out of control. You know what I mean? Like it is really, really special. It's something where older dudes come to the crib, like my pop's friends and them, like my pop's and his friends, they'll come over and we drink a beer, drink some Henny and, you know, whatever. And they'll just sit there and marvel at the collection. And they're 30-something, you know, 25, 30 years older than me. And they'll be like, yo, you got this, you got this, you got this. And they're jazz aficionados as well, like me. And they're just blown away at some of the pieces that I have. And it's, as far as collecting stuff, it's what I'm most proud of. Like, it means the world to me. The same way you'll probably see a game somewhere and get excited, like, yo, I gotta grab that. I can't believe somebody had that on the table. Yeah. That's how I am with jazz vinyl. Like, I'll be like, yo, I need that. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I am with that.
And it's funny, man. So for those of y'all that be asking him to send you, like, playlists because you're about to have a shorty over or dates or something like that, he already has playlists on Spotify, and the name of the playlist is
Sunday Morning Jazz.
Sunday Morning Jazz. So if you want to know what he listens to and the type of shit that he thinks is dope as far as jazz goes, he has the most comprehensive jazz playlist on Spotify out of anybody.
Yeah.
So whenever you need that smooth music, or you're gonna have a girl over so y'all can eat Captain Crunch together under a dim light, that's the playlist you want to go to.
That's real.
Now we talked about this earlier. This, hands down, is my favorite. To me, there's no equal when it comes to fighting games. There's no close competitor or anything. Everybody knows I get busy in Street Fighter. What's the first time you remember playing this game?
Oh, man. My gosh. I played this game so much, man. Me, my little brother Stephon, my man Gregory, Paris, Brad. My gosh. Hakeem, Kareem. What up, all y'all? Everybody off the block. Man, I played this game so much, man. This game right here, jeez.
Who was your favorite character?
Like Guile. I never said his name right. Guile.
Guile. Yeah,
like,
Guile.
I know the character's like the back of my hand, but his name I always screwed up.
Guile.
Because I didn't know if it was Guy Lee or whatever. Yeah, Guile.
Guy Lee.
Yeah, Guile was great, and Bison was great.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ken and Ryu. Man, this is a good game. This is a good game, man.
Now, do you want me to drop some quick knowledge on you about the game?
Let's do it.
So M. Bison was the last character in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who originally had that name in the game?
No.
Okay. So, did you ever notice that Balrog looks like a certain boxer?
Yeah, of course. It looks like Mike Tyson. That was who they based him off of, right?
So his name, So his name originally in Japan was Mike Bison.
Like Mike Tyson. Okay.
Mike Bison.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't do that in America. It's a huge lawsuit, licensing. So they switched
I
it
didn't
around.
know all that. Mike Bison.
Yeah, so now it makes sense because everyone always wonders, like, what the fuck does M and M Bison stand for?
Right.
Well, it used to stand for Mike Bison,
Right.
but then when they turned them into the Last Master, now he's Major Bison.
Okay.
So
they flipped the story.
there we
Yeah,
go.
that's cool.
So now you know
They be
that.
doing what they want in Japan.
A close competitor, which to me, I like the newer games more, but this was still groundbreaking when it came out.
Groundbreaking.
The first time you ever played this, was it at the arcades or was it on the system?
No, I was on the system. It was at the crib.
Tell them about your Mortal Kombat experience.
Breaking. Oh my gosh.
And if y'all haven't noticed, there's a common theme going on here. I keep pulling out Sega games because he wasn't really a Super Nintendo guy like that.
I was Sega Genesis 100%.
So whenever you were in his crib, this is the sound you heard. So
That's nuts.
it was all Sonic and Sega for this guy right here.
Yeah, it's like Xbox versus PlayStation. It was Genesis versus Super Nintendo, and it was real beef. Like, you'd be on the playground like, nah, son, I'm Sega Genesis. Nah, I'm Super Nintendo. Like, it was real beef, you know what I'm saying? So, as like 11-year-old kids, you know what I mean? Like, it was really, really Team Genesis, and I was Team Genesis all day. Groundbreaking. I remember the news. I remember the covers of like Time magazine or whatever. I remember the newspapers. Groundbreaking. Everybody tried to chop this game down. This is the worst thing that happened to kids. This is the worst thing in the world. They're decapitating each other. There's blood flying out. There's like, this groundbreaking, man. There's no, all these games that's out, from everything PlayStation has done and Xbox and everything leading up to that, none of it exists. Fortnite, none of it exists without this. Because not even Street Fighter, because Street Fighter was great. But Street Fighter,
it didn't have blood.
There was no blood.
There
was no gore. There was no limbs coming off, and you couldn't throw ice into somebody and then shoot through them. You couldn't throw a harpoon into somebody and pull them over and rip their head off. Like, none of that was happening. You know what I mean? So Street Fighter was safe. It was banging, but for the parents, it was like, okay, it's just fighting, fighting, cool. This gave parents nightmares, man. And I remember my parents bought it. I remember coming to the crib, me and Steph, we came home from school.
Funko Land? Is that where you got it from? You guys got it from
Funko No, check it out. Me and Steph came home from school, and my stepmoms, which we don't even say, my second moms, we came home and she had this and NBA Jam sitting on the bed.
Wow.
And it was incredible. I was like, yo.
So let's recreate that right now. So you come home and he sees this, and he sees Mortal Kombat right there.
The two joints was laying on the bed. There you go. I was like, what? We didn't. We was an era of kids that stayed outside. You stayed outside. It ain't like now with computers and YouTube and TikTok. You was outside all day. We didn't touch outside that weekend. We was in the house, and all my friends, yo, son, come through. Yo, we got Mortal Kombat, we got Genesis, and everybody was coming to the crib the whole weekend. And we was going nuts. These two was laying on the bed, man. I'll never forget. They was laying on the bed at the same time. I don't know what we did to deserve it, man. But, man, shit. They was laying on the bed, and it was like, yo, here we go. And it was a Friday, so we had the whole weekend to just go. And it was insane, man. It was Heroes from Farmer in the Deli, and these two right here all weekend long, man. I mean, we played these for the year, but that weekend we went into overdrive. It's kind of like that episode of South Park where they got the Okama Game Master. And, and they just like, all right, well, if we stay up now, then, if we can play a little more, and then we'll have 30 hours left. Then we'll have 15 hours left. Then we'll have 12 hours left. It was like that, you know what I mean? It was like with these two, it was like we didn't want to do nothing else. Man, look at the boxes.
The manuals are still in there, everything.
So many memories, man. Wow. Jesus Christ.
Games don't come with manuals now. We used to write the codes in the back. You remember the codes for this one, right?
They would leave the note section. They would have a note section somewhere in here.
I used to play with Bill Clinton in this one all the time.
That was pretty cool, yeah. That was cool. The manuals now is just like a one sheet. Tells you to go
it's a one sheet or exactly. It tells you to look them up on the website.
This literally says
the agreement.
Like, offensive controls.
Yeah.
Shot block, A button. Pass steal, C button. Turbo, B button. Defensive control. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and these used to have, we would sit there and look at them. They have the dope pictures in them and show you how to do new moves. You put codes or tips in the back. Like, I miss actually looking at these books, man.
Yeah. And then it wasn't no internet to get the codes from.
Yeah.
Your man had to tell you the code.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The code to get, Michael Jackson is so and so and so. You know what I'm saying? The code to get Bill Clinton is so and so. Like your man had to tell you the code.
Exactly. You would wait for an EGM or a GamePro magazine, and it would have the
magazine.
codes in the back.
It wasn't no just go online or something. You know, your man had to literally tell you, yo, nah, son, the code is up, down, left, right. You know, like it was. Man, these was times, man. Take me back. I'm trying to close that. I don't want to mess it up.
That's fine.
And then Mortal, yo, I was all about Sub-Zero.
Yeah, Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero was dope.
I think Sub-Zero was like.
It was either Sub-Zero or Scorpion.
Yeah, Liu Kang was great too, but I was all about Sub-Zero.
All right, now drop some knowledge on that. Do you know the story behind Mortal Kombat? How that came to be?
I heard a little bit of it years ago, but I don't
you know that the game was supposed to be basically about Van Damme. That was supposed to be like Bloodsport.
Yes. I saw that somewhere.
You have JC, Jean-Claude, that ended up being Johnny Cage.
Yep.
That's why he has the shades. That's why he does the split.
And he looked like him. He looked like him. Yeah.
So it's funny because then he ended up passing on Mortal Kombat, and then he ended up doing the Street Fighter movie, and then he did the Street Fighter the movie game. There was a game about the movie where they tried to make it like Mortal Kombat, where they used like the real life pictures of the characters and shit, like how Mortal Kombat did.
Yeah.
And that was a horrible Street Fighter movie. We don't talk about that one.
Mortal Kombat really changed the game with that too, of using like the real faces and bodies, like, you know, like it wasn't, they weren't animated. Like that was really cool.
Which I'm pretty sure the same guy who played Johnny Cage also played Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Like back then, the motion capture.
Oh wow.
He would just switch up the costume and just play the character.
I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool.
But then you got, of course, were you more of a Sonic 1 guy or Sonic 2? To me, Sonic 2 is the best one.
Yeah.
Just because you could turn into Gold Sonic in this one. Super Sonic.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that code, but
yeah, I didn't.
That's the only way to play Sonic 2 to me.
I think by the time 2 came out, I was kind of off Sonic. Even though Tails was cool. But I think by the time 2 came out, I was kind of off Sonic. But the first Sonic was groundbreaking because, you know, we talked about earlier, like Nintendo ran the world. Yeah. Nintendo is still the most impactful, powerful video game system ever, just because of what it did and the effect it had.
It saved the video game
industry. Generations, man. Like it was the one. Like there'll never be another to do what it did. Yeah. You know, it's the Michael Jackson of video games. But when Genesis came out, it was like, wait a minute. Colors, the movement, it moved faster, the controller was bigger, and you know it was like, whoa, it had 3 buttons you know what I'm saying, instead of 2, and it was just like, whoa, and everything was about how fast Sonic moved, you know, literally and figuratively, like just how fast he would play and just how fast the game worked. Yeah. And that's what made us all switch. That's what made us like, yo, we out. You know what I mean?
The music in Sonic was dope too, man.
Yeah,
Marble Hill Zone and Green Hill Zone and Casino Night and shit like that. And then being that you're so into basketball and you love basketball, do you have any memories of this? Did you ever fuck with this?
Nah, because I didn't mess with college basketball games because the players were only there for a few years. You didn't really know who they were. You didn't get to know them. I didn't really care about like Duke or Kentucky or UConn to play as them regardless of who the player was who may not never be in the league. Yeah. Mind you, I was a kid. I was like 12. You know what I mean? So like I never played college basketball games or college football games. I always stuck with the NBA.
Now, speaking since we're on the subject of college, touching on what we were talking about earlier, like I said, I appreciate the fact that your narrative is completely different than a lot of people. Like, you don't shy away from the fact that you went to school, you had AP classes, you ended up going to college after that. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, did anyone ever try to, like, look down on you in the hip-hop community or clown you for having an education?
Not at all.
Because I feel like back in the days, that was the path for rappers. And I'm talking about back in the days because Rakim went to college. Yeah. He went to Stony Brook. Right. A lot of rappers went to college back in the day, and they felt, you know, they didn't just rely completely on hip-hop. They're like, yo, I'm going to go get a college education, and I'm just nice at hip-hop, and whatever pops off first. Yeah. And they didn't shy away from it. They talked about it. They even used to say to stay in school. And now I feel like going to school, like, rappers look down on that. Like, they look at you like you're stupid.
Well, I think...
And this is coming from someone who got expelled, but I still don't shy away from the importance of school or having an education or learning a trade, you know?
I think back in the day, if you're talking about Rakim era and all that, the reason why Head supported that and the reason why it was like, well, you know, I'm going to do this music thing, but I'm going to go to school, is because hip-hop was so new and so young, and rappers was making money, but I mean, you had the drug dealers making more than the rappers. You had, you know what I mean? It wasn't an era where you could make $20 million in a year off hip-hop. Like, that did not exist back then, you know? So somebody like Rakim or whoever going to school made sense. Like, yeah, like I'm making music, I love it, I'm the nicest thing ever, but I'm also going to school until this thing fully goes because you never know, you know, like it was a different time. Now we live in an era, or even if you don't go, even if you don't say now, if you talk about the mid 90s, late 90s, is when the money really started coming in heavy. And it was like, well, you really don't have to go to school. This can work. If you, once you get your foot in the door, you can take off and you can make 3, 4, 5 million this year. You know, as Wu-Tang or so-and-so or whatever, you know, talking about that mid-90s era, and you can continue to grow that. So, like, it just was a different time. And then, you know, the more the music became reflective of really what was going on in the street is when you had less of the college representation, because the ones running around in the street aren't fortunate enough to be able to go to college. They're not blessed with that because they're in the street for a reason. They're in the street to survive. They're in the street to provide, you know, all those different things. So when the music became more about that, it's going to reflect the world that it is, you know. So that's why the college element kind of took a backseat. Then, of course, Kanye came out and, you know, he changed that narrative back again and whatever. But regardless with me, like, I never shied away from any of it, no matter what, because I've never been one to lie or front about anything that I do or who I am and or anything like that. So, nah, like, this is who I am. Yep, I grew up over here. My friends was doing this. I was doing that. I was in school. I had both of my parents, but I didn't grow up, you know, Brady Bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still
grew up in Brooklyn.
I still was outside. I still was on the train. I still was in the neighborhood where all these things was happening. But I had parents to make sure that I didn't succumb to that and make sure that we saw more. You know, like, I mean, my pops would take us to the Poconos and Broadway plays and all that because he wanted to show us more. My moms would make sure I didn't go to this school. My pops would make sure I didn't go to this school. My moms would provide me with X, Y, Z. All those things was because, you know, they wanted more. Like, yeah, we live here, but it's more than about here. And
they wanted to open your world up.
Absolutely. And it worked. It worked, you know.
That's something to be respected, man.
Absolutely.
We can only hope to, you know, there's no rule book or guidebook on how to be parents, but, you know, when you hear shit like that, like, it inspires you, and you can only learn from your parents, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it goes either way. You can either have horrible parents that teach you what you don't want to be as a parent, or you have role models that be like, yo, they did everything right, and I want to grow up to be like my parents so that my kids could grow up to be like me. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope that it's like that. Now, being that we're in the realm of family now, your cousin is actually Charlemagne. You ended up finding out later on in life that you and Charlemagne were cousins. You guys both have family from a small town in South Carolina, right? Very small town. Everybody there is kind of like related or knows who's who and family roots. Did that ever help your career in any way, or did it ever help propel you? You know, like, were there certain connections you were able to make because Charlemagne was your cousin? Or
no,
on the opposite, you never used it?
I never used it. You know what I mean? Like, I never used it. Even when I was on the Breakfast Club like 9 years ago, that was through Angela.
You and Angela were cool.
Yeah, we were.
She was babysitting your dog at that point, right?
And, you know, everything. Yep. Yeah. And, you know, and Charlemagne, you know, like I said, that's my cousin, that's family. But I never, that's just me, that's my personality. You know what I mean? I don't lean on people like, yo, son, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's not me. Like, I'm going to go get it myself. You know? So, me and Ange was always super cool. So, you know, that was through her. And then it was like, oh, word, my cousin coming up here. Yeah, Sky coming up here. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. But Ange set that up, you know. So, I never leaned on that. You know, it's love. Of course, when we see each other, it's love and family vibes and all that. But I never leaned on that. I never be like, yo, bro, can you do such and such? Yo, bro, can you call songs? Never leaned on that. That's just me, regardless of who it would be.
And by the way, update to Angela Yee. Leo is still doing good. The dog's still running around. Leo's doing
great. Leo is 10 years old, man. But he moved like he 5. He ripping and running. He don't think he's a senior citizen yet, but he's rocking and rolling.
And wow, so the dog is 10, but your first project now is approaching 12 years. No, it's 12 years now. 12, Salvation. But it's funny. This is one thing I always kind of thought about. And let's say and someone made a book like this. They made like a hip hop yearbook. What would you consider your graduating class? Because in my head, you know, a lot of people see you as like a newer rapper. I wouldn't say like new rapper, but they're thinking of you in probably like the 2010s. That's where people kind of place you, the 2010s and up. They don't know you've been doing music way before that, and your first project was actually in 2006. So you come, in my mind, you come from the class of like Terminology, Joel Ortiz, Who else was around at that time? Danny Brown was doing shit at that time. I thought
Lupe
Danny
that just
Brown
came
did.
out at that time.
Lupe,
Wale,
Joey Badass.
Yeah,
But you
well,
guys
Joey
are-
was later. Joey was a little later.
Joey was a little later.
the 2010s.
Yeah.
But them mid 2000s, like 05, 06 onward. Yeah, that was me, Lupe, Term, like you said, and
Terminology,
Rex,
yeah.
and Joel, and that was Wale.
To me, that's such
Cudi.
that's a weird little pocket of time, because I feel like you guys were in a transitional period.
Mhm.
This is before like the Drake era,
Mhm.
and this was after the 50 Cent era.
It's the blog era.
Yeah, exactly.
blog
Wow,
era.
that's a dope way to go.
Yeah.
Because
no, it's the blog era.
in
We ran
wrestling,
that.
do you fuck with wrestling like that, or do you
Not
watch?
really.
In wrestling, they classify it in different eras.
Okay.
The era like I fucked with,
Mhm.
which was like the Stone Cold, The Rock, and shit like that.
Oh, that was
That's
later.
called the Attitude Era.
Okay.
After that came the PG era. That's like the John Cena era where everything got real
Okay.
clean and
Okay.
like scripted and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's dope that
So I
you,
remember the Macho Man era and all
yeah,
that.
Macho Man, Coco Beware. I fucked with that too.
Right. Because I was a
That's
little
what I
kid.
grew up on. Yeah.
Once I got a little older, I didn't really mess with wrestling. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we was the blog era.
The blog
You know
era.
what I'm
Wow,
saying? Like,
that's
we
a
was
dope
the
way.
blog
I
era,
never
like,
thought about that.
100%.
That was so hip hop back then.
Exactly. It was
Two
Not
Dope
Right. It
Boys,
was Not
Not
Right,
Right.
Two Dope Boys, and On Smash. Those
Yeah.
was your three. Right
And
before
all hip hop.
that-
Let's throw all hip hop in
Well, I
there
was just
too.
about to say that. Right
Yeah.
before that, it was all hip hop game, hip hop DX.
Yes.
Those was the three. If you was on those three, you was cooking.
Yeah.
Then after those three, because those were straight up hip hop sites. So
Yeah.
they had news, they had articles and interviews and contests and posts and all different types of stuff. Then the blogs came and it was strictly about posting new music that just dropped.
Yeah,
They didn't do interviews with heads. They didn't do none of that. It was like, Skyzoo just dropped a new mixtape. Here it is.
Mhm.
Wale just dropped a new video. Here it is. Torre just dropped a new single. Here it is. Like
Yeah.
that was, you know what I mean? That's what it was. And no, we was a blog era, and that the top three with that was Not Right, Too Dope, On Smash.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of other blogs, of course. You know what I'm saying? And forgive me, for not shouting all 100 of them out.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot.
those were like the top three. Like if you was on those three, you was cooking. But shout to every single one of them, because
Yeah.
I had 40, 50 of them supporting me, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without all y'all. You know what I mean? So shout to all of y'all.
Back then, if you got a shout out from LC or he thought your music was dope back then, that was like the golden ticket. LC, do you remember him on allhiphop.com?
Yep.
Which we still don't know who the fuck he is to this day.
All Hip Hop was like the first hip hop site, if I'm not mistaken, or they
Yeah.
one of like they were. Man, I remember being in college in 2001 and going to the library, the campus library, and going on allhiphop.com
Yeah.
because that's where the computers were. You know what I mean? Like they were like the first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Pardon me if I'm wrong, but they felt like the first ones ever.
You'd go on there, check for new music, whatever they recommended. Then you would either go on LimeWire, Kaza,
Yep.
and you
Napster.
download. Or
I was a
Bear
LimeWire
Share.
guy.
Yeah,
I was a
LimeWire,
LimeWire
yeah.
guy. It worked easy.
Yep. I gave a lot of computers AIDS back in the day. That LimeWire was no fucking joke.
Yeah.
But since we're on the subject and topic of music, you collect a lot of CDs. You're from the era of, well, you collect back in the day.
Right. I don't have a
CDs
CD
and
collection
music.
I
Yeah.
got a little bit. I think I got 2 bins worth.
Terminology has a crazy
He's
ass
the
CD
king.
collection.
He's the king. He might
Term-
have like 20,000 of
The
them.
way I have comics or games, Term has fucking CDs.
Term
Anything
might
you
have
can pull
like
it out.
20,000 CDs,
Yeah.
man. Like, yeah.
But this is a dope thing that Marvel did where they recreated
Flip the
hip hop
covers.
covers as comic book covers. They turn them into comic book covers. So I want you to look through here and find some that mean something to you or that you have fond memories of,
Sure.
and just speak on them real quick. 'Cause there's some dope ones in there.
Yeah, this was a really cool thing that Marvel did. And
Yeah.
it's a great way to do the culture right. This Jay-Z Black Panther joint is dope. That's cool. The Squirrel
it's Tyler, the
Creator
Creator,
joint
yeah.
is dope. Oh, that's awesome. The Spider-Man
Shown.
Tribe, yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite albums ever. Without a doubt.
Which I just talked about this with DMC, but Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, so it's always going to hurt me that Spider-Man is from Queens and not from the Bronx. But being that Tribe is from Queens, they made Spider-Man a representative for that
Yeah,
cover.
that's dope. That's incredible.
Liquid Swords,
Yeah, that's
classic
incredible.
CD.
Incredible. They really knocked this out the park, man.
Yeah.
The way they chose it, the albums they chose. I never saw this one. This is insane. With the Far Side, this is
Yep.
insane. Pack the pipe. Let me see. The new Avengers was cool.
Even back then, I would say hip hop covers stood out so much. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
they were just dope. Like you would look at them and it was an instantly recognizable image. Even with DMX covered in blood, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Wale
crazy.
joint is dope. Shout out to the bro Wale. That's dope.
Deadpool, Wade.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Some of these I knew of. Some of them I didn't know that they did. Like some of these I'm seeing for the first time. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, I got the whole collection of it. The only one I actually own out of these, like the actual comic book, is the Black Panther Jay-Z Black album.
Okay, but you said you have the whole collection, meaning like you have
In this book right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this book has a whole collection of them.
Right. But the actual comics, yeah. I think I have a few. I had a meeting at Marvel once, and I think I got a few from up there, but I don't remember which ones I have. What album is that? I know that cover. I know that.
You know, I'm not just gonna let you like nonchalantly slip by saying you had a meeting with Marvel without discussing that, right? Because now you got me curious as hell. Or is it something you're not able to discuss?
This is sick. I don't think I knew that one happened. That Clips one.
Super dope.
No, my man John up there. He was up there. He brought me up there, and I was building with them on some stuff.
Yeah.
And this was a couple years ago. I was building with them on some stuff. We was talking about doing something because I wanted to do a comic. I wanted to do a comic based off of like one of my albums or something. I forgot what album at the time we were contemplating trying to do something with. I was just trying to find artists. It wasn't really about doing a Marvel thing.
Because at that point, you were also talking about writing a book. You're going to turn one of your albums to a book.
Yeah. So it was, forget it. That's insane. A lot of these I'm picking because of the album itself too. Like, you know. But yeah, so, that's sick. I was just trying to get like the right artist to do it. Mm-hmm. And, he brought me up there to kick it with some people and just show me around and all that. And it was love, man. It was love. Oh, the Snoop one is crazy. It was love, man. It was good. I mean, they're amazing up there. They are the absolute gold standard, without a doubt.
Yeah.
No. Oh gosh, I never saw this one. Woo!
Camp Low from the Bronx.
Shout out to the Lower. Yeah, this is great. Word up. All right. Yeah, this is fantastic.
Had to go grab some things off camera real quick. All right. So now we're gonna get into these last segments real quick. So these are segments I do with all my guests, right? All of them have a meaning. So with this, of course, I discussed this in my last interview with DMC, but this is the boombox. So this is the music that you played when you wanted everyone on the fucking block to hear what you were playing or what you were doing or what you were fucking with at the time. So the boombox was for everybody to hear. So with this, let's see what tape is in there. Stop fucking with me. This is also a transformer too. You see how dope that is?
Yeah, what is going on?
This whole thing is a transformer right here.
Wow.
Yeah. This turns into a big ass robot. But anyways, with this, I want you to tell me one song that represents you. If you were rocking your boombox back in the day, and you wanted to play one song that represented you and embodied you, what would it be?
So when boomboxes were popping, I was a kid. So are you saying what song I would be playing as a kid holding a boombox?
If you were a kid, or if right now, if you go hold a boombox for the world to hear a song that represents you.
Oh, if I could right now at this, as an adult, it would be Nas, The World Is Yours. But if I was in the era of boomboxes, like when I was a kid, when boomboxes was the thing, it would easily be Chi Ali, The Fabulous Chi Ali, because that was the album that made me start rapping.
That made you start rapping was Chi Ali.
Absolutely.
And Chi Ali was young himself at that time, so
14,
it gave us
15.
like a more of a vision, like, oh shit, we're young and we can do this.
Right. This is incredible. No doubt. Nah, she was and still is the guy, man. The reason why I started rap, I probably would have started rapping later. At some point I would have started rapping because I feel like this is God-given. It's in my blood. Yeah. At some point I would have started rapping for sure, but I started at that age in that moment because of Chi. Maybe it would have hit me in high school or something, and I would have had less years of preparation and not been in the park as long shooting jumpers if I started later. But I started so early. I was in the park shooting jumpers so early, for lack of a better term. So like, Yeah, I started young because of Chi.
And you used to freestyle while you were doing free throws, and that's how you would practice and breath control and stuff.
Because I was a basketball guy as well.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, you're very into sports.
Yeah, I was a basketball guy. So like growing up, I played ball all day, every day, and I rapped all day, every day. You know, so I would, if I was by myself, I would shoot free throws and and freestyle while I was shooting free throws. You know, I played ball all day long as a kid.
And at that point, you were young and you were turning down deals at that time because, well, you were young, but they wanted you to rap as a younger kid, but you weren't doing that at the time. You actually, you got to link up with somebody from Bad Boy back then that you saw in the bodega, and you were rapping for him. Your pops was down the block walking around, caught up on you, saw you all that. Wow, as Bill Cosby would say, filth, floor, and filth. And I was young
and I I was in the corner store, me, my man Pesos, and then we was in the corner store, regular nighttime shenanigans, and see a dude at the corner with a dude at the counter with a Bad Boy jacket. I froze and lost my mind. Yeah. This is after trying to throw a tape on stage and all that. I'm still like enamored with Bad Boy for years, like this raised me. I'm still enamored with them now. They raised me. I see a dude with a Bad Boy jacket on, and I'm losing my mind. I say, yo, bro, I'm the nicest thing you never heard. Like, what's up? He's like, yo, word? All right, shorty. All right, call me to my car. And his car's parked right in the front. Plays beats. I start dumbing out, going crazy. Takes my number, gives me his number. Like, the next day, he called my house. And I was gone. I was, like, playing ball or something. Yeah. And my pops answered the phone. So when I got home, my pops was like, yo, somebody from Bad Boy called for you. Wow. And I was like, oh, word? So I'm freaking out. And he was like, yo, what's up with this? And I was like, I told you I'd be rapping. Like, this one at the time, my pops wasn't really fully behind me doing it because he didn't want me to have these dreams and visions of grandeur that turned into nothing. Yeah. Because
you want to give realistic expectations.
Exactly, because wanting to be the next Biggie and the next Mace and the next, Jay-Z and Nas, that's like saying you want to be the next LeBron and say you want to be the next Carmelo. Like, that shit is damn near impossible. So as a 15-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid, whatever I was, I think I was 15. As a 15-year-old kid, my pop's job is to make sure that I'm successful in life. Mm-hmm. And it's way easier to be successful as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a dentist, as an architect, as an engineer, whatever it may be. Your chances and your odds are way higher as opposed to the 1 in a million crapshoot. Yeah. So I understand now. At the time, I didn't understand, but I understand now. He wasn't against hip hop at all. My pops was from the street. Like, my pops grew up outside. My pops did everything outside. Mm-hmm. But he wanted to prevent me from being a starving artist and a struggling artist, So he was like, man, fuck that music shit. Like, you got to focus on this. So I was doing school and all that, but I was doing music. So anyway, fast forward. So once Bad Boy was calling my house, that's when he was like, yo, this thing might be real. Yeah. That's when he was like, yo, my son might really be nice at this. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't even think he had ever heard me. Again, it wasn't go on SoundCloud and listen to your kids' music when they're not looking. Like, that
we would do it in private. It was almost like our journal. Like, I wouldn't be rapping in front of my mom. I'd be upstairs like where everybody was sleeping, writing rhymes.
Right, like that. Right now, if, years from now, if my son is making music, I can go on SoundCloud.
Usually in one of these. That's what we're...
What is that cover about?
This is my iPad.
What is that about?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? What is this about? Where'd you get this?
Oh, composition?
Yeah.
I find everything on Amazon, baby. And this is an Apple pen right here, but I got it looking like a...
What?
I got to make everything, you know what I'm saying? It all has to relate to the aesthetic.
Jesus Christ.
It's all either hip-hop or video games. That's a case for the pen, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So they
actually used to write, kids.
They was calling my house, and I was talking to son, and he was like, yeah, you crazy with it. You 15, so we gotta have you go for the 15 and unders, age 10 to 15. So, and I'm from outside, like, you know what I mean, like, I live with my parents. I got 3 parents, like I said earlier, because I got my second mom, but like, I'm still from outside, you know what I mean? And, I ain't turned down no deal. Don't get me wrong. I would took that deal in a half of a heartbeat. But it was just, everything happens for a reason. It was like, yo, can you write some stuff more in this lane, a little more? Like, my stuff was just my reality, how nice I was and what was going on outside. And that I'll smash anybody on the beat. And, whatever little girl I was chasing, but it was like, yo, I know that's your real life, but can you turn it into Nickelodeon? I
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
was
yeah.
the word that was
Yeah.
used was Nickelodeon. And I was like, yeah, I could do anything. And I remember writing some Nickelodeon type songs and all that stuff. And, you know, I had never even been in a studio at that point, you know, but it was, you know, I wound up writing some Nickelodeon type stuff and like spitting it over the phone to him. He was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. A deal ain't done till it's done. But like I said, I am Bad Boy for life. You know what I'm saying? Like the song say. And I never was on Bad Boy, but that is home team to me, you know what I'm saying? Because they raised me.
Which that's funny because I know that feeling because me and my boy, we were young when we were spitting.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time that we were like trying to come up, Bow Wow was out.
Right.
But we wanted to be everything that Bow Wow wasn't.
Right.
You know, we didn't want to be because
it was a similar thing.
We wanted to sound like Wu-Tang and Lost Boys, the shit we grew up listening to that influenced us. You know, like Pun was a heavy influence on me. And you know, people always, you know, try to get us to rap or sound like kids or do more kid-friendly stuff.
Because we were kids.
Yeah, and it just
when you're
didn't
15,
work.
you think you're 25, but you're 15. And as much dirt as you may be doing at 15, smoking a little weed, going to some girl house when her mother not home and laying in the bed, you're not supposed to really be doing all that. You're 15. You're still a kid. You know, like you're not an adult yet. You're not legal yet. You're a kid. So I get it, you know. And what adults want to hear a 15-year-old go crazy like that? With that type of content. They don't. It's the kids. You always look up, especially when you're young in music, like you look up. So like, you know, what adult is gonna be like, yo, I'm 21, I'm bumping that 15-year-old shit. This shit crazy. Nobody's doing that. You know what I mean? Like it's the 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds, like, yo, that 15-year-old shit is crazy. I mean, I was 9 and she was 15 and I was looking up to Chi. Yeah. I was like, yo, I wanna be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you said in one of your albums, you said when you're in middle school, 18 looks like 30, right?
I said that on the new joint. I said that on All the Brilliant Things. 18 looked like 30 to 5th graders. It smelled like Dior, Fahrenheit, and Philly papers. You know, like
exactly.
That's what it is.
But they don't know we're doing crazy shit at 15 though. Like
absolutely,
everybody,
without a doubt. No.
Think about Mobb Deep when they dropped their first. When they dropped Juvenile Hell.
Yep, they were like 14.
They were super young. Look how crazy that shit was. You know what
absolutely. Yeah, it's
So parents sometimes don't understand we have our own completely different
lives. Trust me, man.
It's like an episode of Muppet Babies. Like when the adults would leave, you'd only see their legs in the episode, but when the adults would leave, the Muppet Babies were doing all types of crazy shit. Let me tell you, man, when
I was in high school, my life was like Kids. The movie Kids.
Wow, yeah, that's a great movie.
That was my life. Me and
my boy talk about that all the time.
That was my life, running around New York City. That was my life minus all the unprotection. You know what I'm saying? Like that and the, you know, all that stupid stuff that Telly was doing. Yeah. That was my life. The Washington Square Park and burning and all that. Like that was my life, man. So and I was 15, you know what I mean? So like, you know.
Shout out to Rosario Dawson. That was her acting debut. She's also from Brooklyn, right?
No, she's from the lower. She's from LES. Okay. Yeah. Word up.
Now, so we touched on the boombox. Now we grew up more in this era with the Walkman.
Absolutely. Yep.
So this, like I said, this is something only you would hear in your head. Not everybody would hear what's going on here. So with this, I want you to play a song that changed your life or that has deep meaning to you, because this is more personal.
Well, it's going to be
the same. So if you were to pop this tape in, what?
It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be similar answers as I said. If we talking about when I was a kid, when I literally had my Walkman, it would be Chi Ali, it would be Crisscross, it would be Family, it would be the Youngsters. Like I was into all of the kid rappers as well as the adults not because I was into like kiddie stuff, but I was a kid rapper. I was 9, 10, 11 years old wanting to rap. I was writing raps every day at 10 years old. So 10-year-old rappers were interesting to me. 12-year-old rappers
the youngsters were dope too. The
youngsters
didn't rap. They didn't rap like little kids.
Nah, the youngsters, right? Exactly. The youngsters were super dope. So anybody, and that was an era where there was a million kid rappers. Like as every label wanted a kid rapper at that time. That early '90s, because Crisscross blew so crazy, ABC blew so crazy. That was when every label was like, yo, we gotta find a kid. So I was into all of them. It would be Chi Ali and Crisscross without a doubt. That Crisscross album is a classic. But then later on too, man, my Walkman in junior high was the Genius. You know, it was Illmatic and it was written. I was going into 9th grade. Ready to Die, of course, absolutely without a doubt. And then like every Clue tape that ever existed, like that's what I was on. You know what I mean? So.
So now we're gonna bring it back into hip hop and video games. So you said you fucked with Nintendo a lot also back in the day, the original Nintendo.
We all did.
So did you ever fuck with Zelda?
Nah.
You ever played? Well,
Not really.
everybody knows though in Zelda. Do you remember the money you used to get in Zelda? Do you remember what it was?
I don't. I wasn't really a Zelda guy. I don't like role-playing games. I don't like games where you gotta start here and go around here and get the mission. The best role-playing game is Mario. You know, like that's it. I never was a role-playing game.
So, being that I'm a huge fan of Zelda, I'm gonna ignore that he said any of that. But this right here, I call this little segment. It's named after Mobb Deep. Drop a gem on him.
That's dope. Oh wow.
So I want you to grab. These are the little rupees you would get in Zelda.
Yeah,
right?
remember the rupees? Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the rupees. So I want you to grab one of those rupees, whichever color you desire, and I want you to drop a gem on the public. Give them a nugget of information.
This is crazy.
Something that means something to you. Some advice for the young kids.
Here's a green joint for the money. My advice would be yourself. Be true to who you are. Stand tall and firm in what you believe in. Know that this industry is a business and it moves as such. But if you love what you do, it'll help you push through it, because there's so much that happens in the business. It's enough to make you be like, I don't want to do this no more. You know, it's enough to make you be like, I can't do this. I'm pushing out of it. But if you love it, you'll push through it. You'll be like, yeah, the industry is going crazy and I hate the way this works, but I love making music so much. I love fashion, art, whatever your creative passion is. I love it so much that I'm willing to push through it and fight for it, regardless of the scars and the bruises that I'm getting within it. So that would be my jewel on that. This is really dope.
That's dope.
Did it start making noise when you opened it or something?
Yeah, it makes the noise it makes when you open up the chest in the game, man.
But you get all this stuff, bro. This is crazy.
People always ask me this question, like, yo, where the fuck do you get all this from? All right, so
Yeah.
you already know where this glove is from.
Absolutely. That was the movie.
So if you were to put this on, so if you had the power to change anything right now with the snap of a finger, what would you change?
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
can actually move the fingers in there too.
I was okay. I was like, what is that in here?
Yeah.
I felt like all these little.
Yeah, you put your fingers in there. You
One,
can
two,
move. Yeah.
three. I'm missing one. Okay, hold on.
This thing.
1, 2. What?
Yeah. You can make a whole fist. You can do the whole thing.
There's that. Ah. Yo, this is nuts. Racial oppression, systemic racism. That would be what I would change without a doubt. If I just went like that, right?
Which you talk about in the music a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be without a doubt. I mean, there's so many things.
You did a whole album about it.
Absolutely. There's so many things that I would change, but that would be job one. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pull it. That would be job one. Yeah,
Okay.
without a doubt.
That's what's up.
Snap your finger.
See, it either would have been that or we would have threw on the old Nintendo Power Glove, but I didn't know how
That
much
was
it
the
was.
one. That was the one.
You know what I mean?
And the mat, man. The track.
Don't play with me.
Mat.
I have the Mac.
I'm good.
I have
That
it,
thing was it though. We used to be in the crib.
Yeah.
Boom, and then the neighbors would knock on the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
on
they'd
the
be hitting
sill.
with the
Yo,
broom.
what up? What up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we be in there. Me and my aunt Pinky, me and my aunt. Boom, like jumping. That shit was
Yeah.
great, man. Yo, if y'all ain't grow up in the 80s and 90s, man, the greatest times ever, man.
Nah, you know what? I know what you would have changed with that. If you could go back in time and change something, your brother's name is Steph, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steph, that day that he had to babysit you, that he missed out on that crazy studio session
Oh, with Rough Riders.
with Rough Riders and the locks and everything.
Yeah.
I still think you don't forgive him for that. I don't know. Maybe
That wasn't his fault.
He owes
He
you.
didn't do nothing. He was just a little 8-year-old kid at the house. He ain't do
Steph,
nothing.
you owe him for being so young. Y'all
Yeah.
should have went together if you were older.
Yeah.
So,
Are we good on time? Good?
good on time, we're good on time. This is
Okay.
the last section right here.
Okay.
So, this one right here, this is called the shameless plug.
Nice.
So this is where you hold, or you hold this shameless plug,
Yeah.
and I want you to plug anything you have going on right now, any future
Oh, man.
projects, anything you want to promote to
Yeah.
the people. This is your time to plug it.
Shameless plug. The new album, All the Brilliant Things, is out right now, tearing up everywhere. Everybody's been super on it. Top 5 this, top 5 that, best of the year, all that. And I appreciate that. So, new album's out right now, All the Brilliant Things. And that's pretty much it. You know, just continuing to rock with me. I appreciate everybody who's been pressing play for so many years, who's been tapped in and tuned in and standing tall and representing me and what I do, knowing that it's because I'm representing you and what you do. So that's my plug right there, man.
And by the way, knowing that your middle name is Skylar, but the reason you get your whole name was because of a song that your parents used to love to listen to, and your aunts and uncles or whatever.
Yeah.
You said you never found someone to sample that correctly and turn it into a dope beat for you. Is that still the case to this day?
Yeah, but I haven't heard anybody send that to me. Like, nobody sent me that in a long time. Somebody told me recently, they was like, yo, I saw in an interview with Kweli that when you said that, I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna do it. I was like, I don't remember who it was. Pardon me, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, it's just all in good fun. But yeah, I'm all ears, you know.
The challenge is up for whoever can find that song by Skyzoo.
It's cool, man.
If you can flip that and turn it into a dope beat for him to rap on, that's literally his namesake.
Make something happen.
So stop playing around. I know a lot of producers out there. Make that happen, man. All right, so yo, Scott, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you, man. This is love.
I appreciate it.
Word up.
We're not gonna have time to play any games today because we gotta get this guy to the airport.
Yeah.
But we got Skyzoo right here, Brooklyn's own. No continues, spitting game. Out of here.